As I said in the intro video to this course, without good, relevant content, there's no compelling reason for anyone to visit or use the website. And content and structure, meaning information architecture, or IA, as we're going to call it, are intimately interrelated. You cannot create one without defining the other. Okay? How pages or screens are divided, categorized, is a direct result of IA. What shows up in your global navigation and your local navigation throughout the site is a result of IA. The information on a single screen and how you move through that content, what's connected to it, is a result of IA. Okay? Your physical body can't perform any task without the bones under your muscles and skin, which are designed to support those actions. In the very same way, a website can't deliver anything to anyone unless its bone structure, its information architecture, is designed explicitly to support those tasks. So what is information architecture? Let's start there. IA means you're consciously organizing the content and flow of a website or an app or a system. That organization has to be meaningful, all right? And that means it's based on what you know about the people using the site. In particular, what their preconceptions are and their expectations are, right? What do they think is going to appear? What do they think they're going to get? What do they think they're going to be able to do? Matching those expectations is a huge part of whether information architecture succeeds or fails. So IA in that light is based on how content will be organized, what we're going to call it, which is labeling, what and how much content they expect to find, how they expect to be able to move through it, and how they expect to be able to view, enter, download, manipulate, or otherwise interact with it. Louis Rosenfeld and Peter Morville wrote sort of the book, okay, on the subject of information architecture. It was called Information Architecture for the World Wide Web. You're looking at a picture there. People often call it the Polar Bear book, all right? It essentially defined the practice of IA, all right? In that book, they introduced 4 components of information architecture which still hold true today. The first, organizational schemes and structures, meaning how information is categorized and how it's structured. Next is labeling systems, right? How we represent that information. Navigation systems, meaning how users browse or move through that information. And finally, there are search systems, which is how people look for information. It's important to note here that IA is not just relegated to websites and apps. Okay, it's bigger than that. And there are plenty of examples that exist in the real world. When you're in a department store, right, and you can't figure out where a particular product is, you might look for signage or labeling on the aisles, hanging from the ceiling, wherever it may be, right? If you're in Target, you see things like this. Even things like clearance or the sale, signs up to 70% off, that's wayfinding. That points your way to things that you might be interested in, okay? You're looking for the department, the category that your item might be in. That is IA. And how easily that IA helps you find what you seek is a measure of how well it works. Here's a question I get a lot. What is the difference between an IA and a sitemap? Here's the simplest way to understand the difference. The IA itself is essentially a strategy, okay? It's a way of categorizing, organizing, prioritizing, and linking content based on user expectation, need, business goals, okay? It's connecting information to information. The sitemap is a visual representation that illustrates that strategy, okay? So one is a concept, the other is visual proof of that concept. All right, the sitemap shows navigation, main content areas. It shows how people will navigate from one section to the other. It also indicates the relationships between the pages on the site. The IA, by comparison, is the underlying reason why this is the best way for all that to happen, okay? And in order to formulate a solid IA, you first have to get a handle on content, what it will be, how much of it there is, and how you're going to organize, prioritize, and present it.